Welcome back to the homestead. If you're new here, my name's Jeff and my channel is Oklahoma Homesteader. So we focus on everything homesteading and outdoors, mainly here in the great state of Oklahoma. So welcome to my homestead. This is going to be part 2 of my orchard irrigation series. It's going to be 3 videos. I did part 1, kind of lined out the beginning of it, the in the ground trenched from the hydrant to each row of trees. That's 1-inch PVC. Go back and check that video out. I'll put a link on here. But basically I have 1-inch PVC going to each row. It comes up out of the ground at the beginning of the row, and there is a ball valve, and then right now I just have them kind of capped off. So we're going to go from the 1-inch PVC to 1/2-inch black plastic pipe. Now this plastic pipe is very cheap. It does last a long time. It holds up super well. Doesn't have to be buried or covered. I am actually going to lay it on top of the wood chips in my row, and then at each plant or tree I'll do an emitter. So let's take a look at those. I got my helper tank here. So this is that 1/2-inch pipe. You can see it's flexible. I mean, you can even squish it and then indent it a little bit. It does kink kind of easy, so you have to look out for that or kind of be aware of that. But if you get it laying straight and flat, I've never had a problem. We're gonna have to go from 1-inch PVC. So I've got some couplers. I don't even know what you call this. It is a PVC fitting, but it goes from 1-inch, the coupler. So it'll go from 1-inch PVC and reduce down to 1/2-inch threaded. From the threaded, we're gonna go with this. We've got the threads here, and then on this side, it's a kind of a friction fit that will go into the hose, and we'll put a clamp on it, something like this that we can clamp down. I don't even know if it really needs it. That's kind of what all these little grooves are on there. Oop, is it focusing? Those little grooves on there kind of is what holds it inside the hose. But for some backup, make sure we don't slip out of there, we're going to do some hose clamps. These are the emitters. I use a lot of these, so I've got them labeled and I have got them all in their own little separate containers here, but this is a 2-gallon per hour drip emitter. So that's it. So 2 gallons per hour will come out of there. It just pokes right into the hose. So I'll have to go get my little hole making tool. There's a specific little tool that we'll use that'll punch a hole in there, and then this will fit in and it just kind of locks in place, and that's how we're going to do our irrigation. So let's take a look at what we got set up here already. So we've got the 1-inch PVC, we've got our ball valve, and then this cap. This one is on there really tight for some reason, but basically what we're going to do is we're going to take a coupler, go here, and then reduce that down to that 1/2-inch threaded. I just want to remind you folks that none of my videos are really how-to videos. They're just a how Jeff does things video. So no need to point out, oh, that's not how you do it or whatever. I mean, if you want to, knock yourself out, but if you think something is like a productive comment and could help me, then I'm all for it. But otherwise, you know, don't waste your time. So we've got that glued on there. You may notice in some of the videos that I don't have all my fingers. So a lot of times I kind of fumble with things, but the job always gets done. But if you've been wondering what's wrong with my hand, I cut off these 4 with a table saw about 7 years ago. My pinky came unscathed though. Anyway, these 2 are sewn back on. They're actually, other than missing a knuckle, they do really well. Anyway, this is what we got set up here. I did make a video about my table saw accident. It doesn't show any gory stuff, but it just explains what happened and about my recovery and all that. It's kind of interesting. Check it out. Now, if you watched my last video, you know that on this first row of trees here, I already had this setup going on that I put in a long time ago. And this just had a fitting on it that connects to a garden hose, and I would run the garden hose across the ground out here, and you know, that works. Definitely works. But I considered this is going to be a pretty major upgrade where I don't have to move the hose around. I don't have to disconnect the hose from this one and hook it up to the next row. I also don't have to move it when I mow, all that kind of business. So this, I think, is going to save me a lot of time, and it's going to look a lot better. So now we're going to do this piece here. I'm going to go ahead and put some Teflon tape on here. Don't know if it's totally necessary, but that's what we're going to do. I got it, so I may as well use it, right? This just helps seal the threads up. This isn't like a high pressure system, so I don't think it's totally necessary. But this piece is kind of nice because it's got these little tabs on it. You don't really need a wrench, I don't guess. Yeah, that's pretty handy. Now, move some of these sticks here. Oop. We live not far from a school. It's actually the property to the south of us, and we can hear they must be brush hogging or doing something with the tractor. I can hear them. They've been out working this morning. It's actually a big open acreage that the school owns that they use for a cross-country track. So anyway, if you hear something, that's probably what that is. Okay, now I got a little bit of extra pipe here, hose here, so I'm gonna cut this down a little bit. This hose is probably full of bugs and dirt and crap, so I'm gonna make sure I'll flush this out. If you start doing stuff like this often, it's pretty handy to have fittings, and if you think it's going to be a situation where you're going to do more of this in the future, it's a lot better to buy this stuff in bulk and have it on hand. It's less trips to the store, and you can have it if something breaks or whatever situation you find yourself in. But on a homestead or farm or whatever, hose clamps, different kind of fittings, this stuff is relatively inexpensive, and it's stuff that is used to fix stuff all the time, so it's pretty handy to have on hand. So okay, so we've got our PVC, and now it's connected to this 1/2 inch. It's pretty easy. Let's take a look at the emitters now. So this 1/2 inch line is just sitting on top of the ground, on top of these wood chips, and then at each plant, this is a Viking Aronia here, but at each plant there's an emitter. I wish I knew how many gallon per hour these ones are. These ones are probably 6 or 8 years old, so I don't know what they are. I may pull these out and put a new one in there. I think I am going to do that. They just pull right out. Yeah, okay. So this has got green on the underside, so it is a 2. I think that these are color coded or color whatever, and if they have green, they are 2 gallon per hour. So we're just gonna stick that one back in there. Good to go. All right, so I've got the black pipe down 2 rows, well 3 rows, and I wasn't going to bore you with unrolling this pipe, this hose, but I have done this the wrong way in the past. You wouldn't think it would be a big deal, but this I don't know if you want to call it pipe or hose. I guess technically it's a pipe, tubing, I guess, more so. This has been in this, wound up for who knows how long. And this plastic kind of takes a shape, it kind of holds its shape. So if you were to just grab one end and just start pulling, it would be like an accordion, and it's always going to wind back up, or try to, almost like barbed wire will. So as much of a pain in the butt as it is to do, I like to grab the spool and awkwardly shake it between my arms and unroll it. And I'm sure there's better ways to do this. Put it on a spool and have a piece of rebar you could stick through the center, and 2 people, you could just walk and it would be pretty and simple and whatever. But I don't have that, and I don't have another person with me. So I'm just going to show you what I've been doing. And I know this seems like, oh, that's kind of stupid, but If you don't unroll this in the manner that it's already rolled, it will be a freaking nightmare to get it all straight, if that makes sense. I would love to show you an example of how not to do it, but quite frankly, it's hot out and I don't want the headache of trying to undo it once I've done that. So I could just say, take my word for it, I guess, that unrolling this in the opposite direction, I guess, that it's rolled up already is the way to do it. So I'm gonna set you down and you can laugh at me for a minute. As you can see, that went pretty smooth, and the line is completely flat all the way across this row. I just laid it on the grass for now, just because it's a pain to walk down the chips and the plants and all the trees and stuff in the way. So now I will move it into the row, and we'll get this thing set up. All right, I got all the hose in, or the tubing, I guess technically it's tubing. And I got all the emitters put in at each plant or tree. So you can see that emitter there, that's gonna catch that tree. This tree's not gonna need a whole lot of water because it's very established, it's a pear tree. So it may catch a little water there, but these garlic chives are gonna benefit big time. We go down here, you can see that emitter there. That's for this elderberry here, and so on and so forth. I put an emitter there kind of in these irises, and then that'll catch some of the roots of this pear tree here. This goji berry was devastated by blister beetles recently. So it'll bounce back, but it's looking rough. Another emitter there. So you get the picture. Speaking of getting the picture, man, look at these pears. I want to go over here real quick. I've been taking pictures throughout the season of a section of, they were blooms right here. There was 5 or 6 of them right here. And over time, I had been taking pictures every few weeks, all spring and summer, to show kind of the progression. And then this is the outcome. Let's take a peek at that. Perfect. Oh man. So I'm going to play the photos. That is so sweet, it almost choked me up. My gosh. Whew. I'm going to play the photos now, showing the stages of from blossom to pear. So enjoy that. So I've already let some of these pears, you can see they look like a brown mush up in there, and they've already rotted. But Look at that butterfly. The butterflies love, they just set up on there and soak in all that sweetness. I'm gonna see if I can move this a little bit and get a better video. Here's another cool little creature. Praying mantis. All right, folks, so like I said, we got phase one was putting the 1-inch PVC underground from the hydrant to each row. And there's a ball valve where I can, if I need to make changes or maybe technology will change and new products will come out, whatever, I can more easily change things out. So then I did this 1/2-inch flexible tubing down each row, just sets on top of the wood chips or the ground, whatever. And then an emitter at each plant. And that's where I'm at. And I think this is gonna wrap up part 2 of this series. Part 3 will be right here. This is where the lines come out of the ground, zone 1 and 2. And then of course my hydrant there. Part 3 will be connecting a automatic timer and setting that up and then testing it, see how it works. So this project's been long overdue. I've planted so many plants in between my trees over the years, and without the water for at least the first year or two, you know, a lot of it's trial and error. A lot of them I've lost, and so I'm gonna stop wasting my time and money, get this long overdue project done where I can better manage all this and get the rest of my plants going. So I appreciate you guys watching, and we'll see you on part 3.